Hi everyone, welcome to DOdaily, Thursday Thoughts. Your questions answered live. It's Des here. Looking forward to another episode, answering all your questions, relaying that feedback from the throwback question. Apologies for being a little bit late. Kay's just had to scrape me off the ceiling after the FA Cup draw. Really excited about the possibility of who Forest might play if we get through the next round. But that's a big if. So I have got to calm down a little bit. But, like I say, really excited. Buzzing about that. Buzzing about getting out for a really good run tonight as well. Always start off by saying how I'm feeling in terms of my activity throughout the week on a Thursday. So just done a session, really tough sprint session, lots of fast running, broken down into smaller segments, and really feeling it, but really feeling good from it. The endorphins are flowing, feeling fantastic. Again, I'll just sort of reiterate, the week seems to be going really well. Last couple of weeks I've been absolutely buzzing and sort of getting back to my running, and like I say, that cup tour, looking forward to a big football match tomorrow, another local rival, so lots going on in that sense. So really sort of just enjoying life right now, just making the most of it. Got that vlog out yesterday from the park run, which I didn't particularly enjoy. If anybody's watched it, they'll have seen me struggling. So to get out for a good run tonight was really sort of put me back in a good place with it. Really feel positive and like I can attack some of those goals and targets again. If you've not seen the park run vlog, do check it out. You'll see me suffering a little bit on some hills. But it's had a really good response. Lots of people making nice comments. Good views for DOdaily. You know, it's all relative, this. So really sort of pleased with all that as well. So when the football's going well, when DOdaily's going well, when I can get out for a run, you know, what else really matters? I'm just kind of enjoying life, you know, and like I say, got plenty to look forward to as well. Not just the football, got a big event through Do Running, working with Notts County Football Club. You know, really sort of excited to be working with those and on their community day, something a lot of the Do Running guys are taking part in. So that's Saturday. So it's going to be a pretty hectic few days. But when I'm in this frame of mind, it's sort of, I almost feel like bring it on, just like Liverpool in the next round if we get through. But that's where I'm at. Always start like that. If you've got anything to add throughout the episode, please drop in your comments. Of course, there'll be questions that you can offer a response to, add your thoughts, or if you've got anything to sort of add to the throwback, which we're going to start with. Last week's throwback question, which DOdaily episode theme is your favourite? Of course, the reason I asked this was because last week I hit 250 subscribers. Not a massive thing in reality, it's just another number, but you know, a small milestone along the way. Always looking to pick up subscribers. If you're new to the channel, subscribe now. It's up to 257, so the next step's 500. So always looking for people to subscribe, watch, you know, leave comments, help me sort of make this thing a little bit better than it is at the moment. I'm not saying it's bad, but of course you're always looking to improve. And DOdaily for me since day one has been the case of trying to find ways to share different messages, to share motivation and inspiration, and to get people sort of almost believing that there's a direct link between physical health and mental health. I firmly believe that, and that's why I talk about what I do and try and encourage others to use it for positive reasons. Like I say, I hit those subscribing targets. So I asked this question, of course. Some people are watching, which is grateful. Dawn says, I like Wake Up to Walk best. I've learned a lot about parts of Nottingham I'd never seen before. Of course, on a Friday, I try and get up, get out early, use the daylight, use attacking the day, you know, talk about lots of reasons I do that, but also explain where I am. I try and get somewhere different. I tried to add in the odd challenge here and there. Walk the Robin Hood Way, an 112-mile pilgrimage. There's actually a playlist for that on the DOdaily YouTube channel. So it's worth a follow. And I really enjoyed that too. One of my absolute favourites, Wake Up to Walk. Kay said she likes Monday motivation. It makes her feel ready for the week. Of course, on a Monday, I try to sort of be a little bit more serious in the messaging. Try and put across some advice, thoughts, ideas on how we can attack the week, and relate it into wherever I'm at in my mind. It might be sort of attacking it when you're feeling good. It might be trying to turn around a bad week into a good week. All those kind of things. I try and theme it, but it's all looking at the week ahead and how we can really use DOdaily to push forward. Ben says he likes the part one vlogs on a Wednesday workout. Ben was heavily involved in yesterday's. Again, bit of a plug there to check that out. A group of us went up to Sheffield, and again, it's just great doing those. It's hard work, to be honest. I find the vlogs go down really, really well. I really enjoy them when I put them together, when they come out, but they're really hard to do, especially when you're running. I'm still finding it really hard running with a selfie stick, trying to talk, trying to breathe, when it is a struggle like that. But I really, really enjoy putting them together, and they tend to come out really well. And they're short and snappy, and give people an idea of what we're up to. So really, really enjoy that too. Lindsay says, I always enjoy hearing what you've got to say on Thursday Thoughts. Well, that's good, isn't it? Hopefully you're watching tonight. I enjoy this episode. It gets me out of my comfort zone. I've said that from day one. I don't do any research really into the questions anymore. I used to look into them and try and be not technical, just try and build my knowledge. But what I want to be is just relatable and say it how I see it. So I don't think too much. I get the questions, and I pop them on there. Kay does it for me. And then I just sort of read it off the screen and go with it. And that's a bit like it is tonight. So, yeah, Thursday Thoughts are great. And I know there's a few people who I'd like them to watch every episode, but I know they just watch Thursday Thoughts. So it has got a little bit of a following. Simon says, during lockdown, Tuesday training put me in a great routine, taking part in the solidarity session. And it's something I've carried on and always look forward to. That's fantastic, isn't it? Because that's what I'm trying to do with the daily motivations. It's just find ways to encourage people using a slightly different tag. Of course, Tuesday training, Monday motivation, Wednesday workout, Thursday thoughts, and wake up to walk. All these different things are just ways we can sort of adapt it into our own week, just to use as a trigger to go again. That's what I do. Every day. It doesn't mean that it takes over every day. It just gives me ways of structuring my week and putting in activity to help. And Michelle says, I really enjoy the part one vlogs on a Wednesday. I'm making a list of ones to visit. Again, through doing that, I'm just looking to inspire people, firstly, to take part in activity, but also to take part in something that I've got so much fun. Part one is a brilliant way to start the weekend. Lots of people, I'm not saying everybody can, but lots of people can find the time to do it and start the weekend in that manner. So it's really important to show people what it can do. I'm so grateful to part one for what it did for me. Before running groups, before I was with Kay, I did a lot of running on my own. My friends at the time weren't into running, so I went off and did it on my own, and it was great to get into the running community through something like part one. And that's why I'm really passionate about it and trying to pass over this message. And John says, I listen to Wake Up to Walk on a Friday when I finish work. It relaxes me and makes me feel ready for the weekend. Well, that's brilliant, isn't it? Because that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sort of prepare us all for the weekend to almost reflect on what we've done, what we've said so far, or how we've coped during the week so far. For me personally, it's what I've said. And then sort of work that into the week and take it forward. Getting it done tomorrow, with that football match to look forward to and a shorter working day than normal, it'll be great just to sort of sign it off. Now I've done what I say I'm going to do this week, feeling good about it, and I can crack on. So really, really appreciate those responses, guys. Brilliant. There's a bit of everything in there, and that's what I'm trying to do through DOdaily. Like I say, I'd love everybody to watch it every day. But if you've got your favourite, I can't fault that. Got a comment coming in there, but I'll come back to that. It's about the football. So, of course, I thought somebody had asked me about that tonight. So yeah, really appreciate those comments. If anybody's got any more to add, please drop them in. I'd love to hear what you've got to say. Again, no wrong answers. It was a really easy question this week. If you do watch DOdaily, if you are picking up on what I'm saying, it's the easiest question in the world. Don't be afraid to drop your comments. It's great that people are now emailing me, tweeting me, letting me know how they're getting on and what they're doing. And like I say, some great feedback. So really enjoying that. Moving into the question. Well, just before I move into the questions, again, quick plug for subscribing if you're new to the channel. There's a few watching, so that's quite pleasing. A few more than normal. Really pleasing. And of course, hit that like button. Hit it now. It take you half a second. You don't even have to leave the channel. So just hit that like button for me so we can share this around the YouTube algorithms, and it can get me even more subscribers and people watching, and I can try and take it forward that little bit more. So yeah, the questions, of course, this is what Thursdays are about. It's putting me on the spot. And the first one has definitely done that, but it's an absolutely brilliant question. I'm always talking that this can be serious, it can be not so. I've got a bit of everything today, but this is quite a serious question. Does growing old, aging, either yourself or other people worry you? It's something I can't avoid, but I find it hard to accept. Again, this is sort of on the serious side, but I'll answer anything. Do you know what? And if I'm really honest, there was a point in my life, Lee, where I was really worried about growing old, and I was still relatively young, in my early 30s. Things weren't exactly going right. Just for one reason or another, I've documented that a lot through DOdaily. I've spoke about it at length, so I'm not going to go completely into it. But I felt really I thought I was ill at one point, and I almost walked around and felt the Grim Reaper was behind me. I thought I was going to die too soon, and I was worrying what would happen, and that I was single, and I was never going to meet anybody and never going to do anything. But it wasn't until I found something I was really passionate about, which was the running, of course, and getting into this journey. Again, I hate that word. I tend to say it every Thursday mind. But getting into this journey and meeting people, part one was a massive thing. And again, just going back to that sort of forgetting about all the concerns and doing something I enjoy. And it was a case of throwing myself into it. It's not easy all the time. I talk about getting out of my comfort zone here. It's not easy doing this. It's not easy reflecting on those times. It can be quite difficult, and it can play on my mind a little bit, but I just have to be honest, don't I? And like I've said about this week, one thing is kind of leading into another, and I haven't even got time to think about things like that. Unfortunately, it's something we can't change. It happens to everybody. But I've said this a lot, and this is the real crucial point. I had a real long conversation about it last week. One thing that made me change my whole mindset was when I realised I weren't invincible. I touched on there that there was a time I thought I was ill. A doctor told me I might have bowel cancer. I had a few issues, what everybody wants to hear on a Thursday night, but that was the case. And again, I really worried about it and thought that was it and the end of it. And then sort of being told I didn't, just made me realise that I'm not invincible, and it's going to happen one day. The worst will happen to everybody. But once you realise that, everything changes. For me then, it was about living life to the max, being positive, not overthinking things. And that's easy for me to say now. I've got lots in my life, I've got lots to do, but it's about not overthinking and just doing what you enjoy, throwing yourself into something. And once I'd done that, obviously feeling good that I'd got good news, everything sort of snowballed on from there. And I started meeting people, doing different things. I went out for a run, which led me to park run, which led me to running communities, which led me to doing a running group, which led me to K. And all these things now in the space of 5 years have really flipped on the head. And of course, this year I'm getting married, and without being silly about it, then you kind of look forward to getting old, because that's what you're doing. You're sharing your time with somebody you want to be with and enjoy. So I think what the key to it for me was just realizing that I'm not invincible. And again, you mentioned there about worrying about other people. I spent a lot of my younger years worrying about people, and I've never said this on Do Daily. This is getting quite deep. I spent a lot of my young years worrying about people dying, because my dad died when I was 8, and I never realised this till I started talking through Do Daily. So it took me 30 years to realise this, but I used to worry about my grandma dying, and I spent most of my teen years stressing and worrying about getting old, and exactly what you're saying there in the question. But when you realise you're not invincible, and when you realise others aren't invincible as well, it took me a long time to get over when my grandma did actually die. But once I realised that people around me aren't invincible, and it had happened to me, and I had to deal with it, and I had to come through it, you start making the most of everybody. You start making the most of the people in your life, and you build relationships as much as anything. And that's what's happened for me. Of course, not everybody agrees, and not every relationship's as it was 5 years ago. But a lot of the closer people to me, and the people who want to be around me, I've got great relationships with, probably better than they were, because I'm not at odds with everything. I'm not worrying. I'm not worried about getting old. I'm not worried about them. I am worried about them at times, but what I'm saying is, when you realise that they're not going to be there forever, it's important to make the most of the time you have got. So it's, for me, sort of concluding on this, and I could talk about this all day, because like I say, I got quite deep there, and there's lots of reasons how I come to that conclusion of where all my personal issues have gone back to. But for me, it's about realizing that you're not invincible, and when you realize that, you get this burst of life where you can go and do exactly what you want, or things that you've never done before. And then when you realize others aren't either, it's so important to make the absolute most of them. I'm kind of living through, not directly, there's a few issues within my family where there's lots of worry about people not being around forever, and it's heartbreaking. But again, you've got to do what you have to do and make the absolute most of the time you've got. So it's about being positive, throwing yourself into things. I always talk about being positive and enthusiastic, and some people seem to scoff at that. Some people don't like that, but why? I've heard other people, and people probably say about me, say, "Oh, do good, a happy clappy, blah blah blah." So what? What's bad about that? What's bad about being a good person? Nothing. And if you're happy and you're enjoying it, I put a post out there on my own Instagram story today about people who are not happy with themselves always look to have a pop at the good things in other people's life. That's not the way to do it, is it? If you're not happy with yourself, you look at your own life and sort of use some of that positivity in their life. But what people tend to do is fight it. People want to fight it because they don't want to hold their hand up and say, my life's not great. And if people admit their own issues, their own problems, that's the start of going forward. So hopefully that gives you a bit of insight into what I'm thinking there. Hopefully it answers the question in some way. Like I say, quite deep, and I purposely didn't think about that too much. I saw that this morning, but it's a great question, and like I say, it definitely gets me out of my comfort zone and gets me talking, gets me being honest. Like I say, some of those things I'd not said, but it's definitely true stuff, and stuff that I wanted to get out at some point, and that's what I want to do here. So thanks for that, Lee. Really appreciate it. Question 2. My friend has been feeling a bit down lately, and I think they would benefit from getting out for a walk or run. How do I recommend suggesting it to them tactfully? Well, first of all, what I do, of course, it's important to. I keep talking about this, and the anonymous person who's asked this question is obviously saying it. I keep talking about the direct link between physical and mental health, and how you can never have a bad run or walk. It might not make you feel amazing, but it's never going to make you feel worse. The endorphins get flowing, the amount of times I come in here on a Thursday and say, I've done this session and I'm feeling like on top of the world. So it's important to try and encourage activity. And I can understand where some people might come from. Myself personally, I'm probably just sort of, if you really don't want to say, come on, let's go for a run because you're feeling down, just say, how's the running going? Get the conversation going, build the conversation. How's the running going? It doesn't have to be, let's go out for a run, because sometimes when people are feeling a bit down, running's the last thing on the mind. I understand that. I spoke about it a lot a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about remembering what works, and I had to dig deep and remember what works for me. So it's not as easy as saying, come on, just get them trainings on, get out, because that sounds like you're being ingenuine. You're insincere. You're only bothered about going out for a run. I think sometimes people will label that at me, that that's all he's bothered about, wanting to get us out doing this, this, and this. It's not. I want to help people and I want to support people, especially people that are suffering. So what I do initially is generate a conversation, no matter how's the running going, and then just suggest it. Do you want to go for a run? Do you fancy it? It doesn't have to be linked to the fact that you feel somebody's feeling upset. You might just suggest it, or say you'd love to go for a run with them. Again, without sort of manipulating the situation, if you suggest to them that you'd love to go for a run with them, it might just make people think, oh, that's nice. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of switching that emphasis. And it's just the way of dealing with people, isn't it? So I can totally understand why it can be difficult, but it doesn't have to be. Me personally, I can be a bit not blunt. Blunt's the wrong word. I like to be a bit sort of forthright these days, and kind of just say, I think I'm quite comfortable saying, I think you could do with a run to the people around me, or you need it to get going. And you have to, what people have to realize is if they've got stresses in their life, if they're really worried about something or someone, they have to look after themselves as well. So it's the best thing for me. It's one of the best things you can do is offer people your time. We spoke about that a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? What's the best thing you can do for people? And it basically offer them some of your time. Free time when you're looking after them. Like I say, you could almost sort of suggest you want to do it, and then it's making them accountable to you, rather than you being accountable to them. So it's just ways of adding that sort of encouragement to get going. And once people get going, it just becomes second nature, doesn't it? I know people, I've done it myself in the past, who arrange to meet the same person every Friday morning, every Monday morning, whenever it is. I do a group on a Tuesday morning just to sort of make us all accountable to what we're doing. And that's all that really matters. Once you get somebody out there, it becomes that little bit easier, because you might go, really enjoyed that, and then it might lead to conversations. It might open people up if you're spending time with them, and they might tell you and feel a lot better about what's doing it. And then you can get to the crux of it. So hopefully that answers that as well. Another great question. Two quite serious ones there. I really sort of enjoy that kind of stuff, getting stuck into it. Kay's just commenting from the kitchen or the bathroom or wherever she's in the house, in a different room. Excellent question and very honest response. Really appreciate that. That comment I got in was, how are you feeling about the tour? Of course, Door on Tour, my good friend who's also got a YouTube channel. Check him out, subscribe to it. Still buzzing, like I said at the start. Hopefully we beat Huddersfield on Monday, but only time will tell with that one. I think Kay's going to kill me by the time that comes around if I carry on singing and shouting and doing what I'm doing. But no, really, really looking forward to it. And looking forward to the game tomorrow, Door, where, of course, I'll be meeting him and some other guys to do that. And then after those questions, after all that serious stuff, which makes me a bit, did I say the right thing? Did I worry? I got a question from Callum. Batman is coming out tomorrow, which I'm really looking forward to. What's your favourite film of all time? And that's a nice way to kind of round things off today, isn't it? I'm always talking about just little ideas. It's kind of what the throwback question can be. And I'm actually going to use it as the throwback question today as well, because it's a nice thing. It's easy. Callum's obviously looking forward. He's been enthusiastic and positive about the film coming out. He can't wait for it. You know, like I can't wait for the football match, and I can't wait for other things. And that's why I talk about it. You know, building it up. I think I mentioned on Wake Up to Walk, we can sometimes build ourselves up a bit too much. But there's nothing wrong with that, you know. There's nothing wrong with being excited. There's nothing wrong with being happy. Again, if people are looking in and questioning that, it's probably more of a fault on their part. So he's looking forward to the film coming out. What's your favourite film of all time? Bit sad, I know, but it's probably Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I watch it every Christmas, of course. It's Robin Hood, it's Nottingham, it's the Old Forest, it's Soppy. You know, it's all those things, but absolutely love it. Watch it every Christmas, like I say, and when it's on, and sort of reminisce about it when I'm on the Robin Hood way, and love all things to do with Nottingham, and definitely claiming Robin Hood as well. So let's not get into that argument, shall we, about who he belongs to. So that's my favourite. I love the Rocky series. They're up there in my top 5. Shawshank Redemption's another great film, you know. And again, sometimes when people say, get really excited and say, what's this film? We all do it, don't we? We go, you've got to watch this film. You've got to watch this film. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And then you'll sit back and watch it and go, wow, it's brilliant. And it gives you that sort of conversation, you know, and it's that little bit of inspiration sometimes to get you going. I know people in the past who've been really, really miserable and gone, I'm not watching that because they've told me to watch it. Come on, you know, that's just pathetic, isn't it? You know, when people are suggesting things, when people are saying you might really enjoy this, they're doing it for your benefit in reality, aren't they? They're wanting you to enjoy it as much as they are. So yeah, mine, rather sadly, is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. But like I say, we'll pop that in as the throwback question. Again, just some ideas. I think we actually did this question before, perhaps a couple of years ago now, and one of the guys commented and said a film, and I watched it and absolutely loved it. Brilliant, you know. What a way, just for a quick question, gave me 2 hours of enjoyment. And to be honest, I'm not a massive film watcher. So to inspire me like that, to get me watching something different, you know, and I think it was quite an inspirational film. So that was great. And I do love getting into a thought-provoking film or television program. So bit of a sucker for rom-coms as well. Again, it's a bit sad and being a bit too honest again, but there you go. So what's your favourite film? Easy question again. Everybody's got a favourite. Pop it in the comments, either now or later, you know, absolutely anytime. A few more comments coming in here, actually. My favourite ever film, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Of course, great film that. Dawn Tour said your vlog was great, referring back to that throwback. He said the vlog was brilliant. Some films being thrown at me. Adrian says Cool Running is mine. Absolutely awesome film. Can't help but feel good when you watch Cool Runnings, you know. And I'm going to watch that again. I'm going to look for it on whatever, the Netflix or wherever it is, because that is a great film and it always makes you smile. You know, it's funny and it's a nice story as well. And Door's back in saying Gangster's Paradise. Again, another great choice. So pop those in. I've read some out already. If you're watching afterwards, please drop your comments. Of course, hit that subscribe button, like, and if you really want to, share. You know, share DOdaily. I've got people who do that, and it really, really helps push up those subscribers. So, yeah, that's today's episode. Love those first 2 questions. Loved all of them, to be honest. You know, great input. That it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be serious. Wow, I'm just reading the comment here from Kay. We've definitely got to watch it now. Never seen Cool Runnings. What? That's unbelievable. Although there is a few things I've not seen which people might question me and go, what? You've never seen it? But we'll definitely be watching that, and I know she'll enjoy it. If you've got anything to ask me this week, brilliant questions there. You know, just what Thursday Thoughts should be about. Get me thinking, you know, getting me out of my comfort zone, getting me being honest, but it's all hopefully realistic and relates into everyday life, whilst I'll bring some of it back to running and some of it back to what I've done. It's all transferable into everything. And then, of course, everybody watches films, so that's something everybody can enjoy. If you've got any questions, please send them. I actually struggle a little bit with this. People tend to ask me questions all the time around the running groups when I'm talking about what I do here and other things, but they never actually send them in because they're a bit scared that it's not going to be appropriate, it's not going to be right. There's no wrong questions. I'll answer absolutely anything about any subject. Some things I prefer not to talk about, but if I'm asked the question, I'll answer it. All the way through COVID, I was moaning about how it was all going and this and that, but I'll still answer the question. So if you've got anything, please email des@DoRunning. You can see all that social media scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Please contact me through any of that. Make comments on the videos throughout the week. I'll pick them up. We spend a bit of time putting it all together on a Thursday. And of course, follow those channels as well. Follow my own personal social media. Just try to be positive, like everybody. I have my moments where I let out a rant and moan and groan about this or that, or get a little bit excited about FA Cup draws and start giving it out a little bit. But that's what it's all about, isn't it? This is life. This is what it is. We have our ups and downs and our moments. So yeah, really, really feeling good. Really looking forward to the morning, the next session, wake up to walk. Although I do believe it's going to be quite wet. I'll be out at the crack of dawn, walking. Not quite sure where. It might just be local, like it has been recently, trying to beat the clock on the darkness. Particularly if it's wet and damp, it might not get light till a little bit later. So hopefully I can get somewhere slightly different and start showing people what wake up to walk's all about again after the dark, cold winter. It's getting a little bit better out there. In the next few weeks, I'm going to start this challenge I've been talking about. Another pilgrimage. This time it's going to be around Nottingham City. It's about 60 miles and it's going to sort of circumnavigate the city from one point. It's called Round the Clock. So I'll be talking about that, talking about where I'm going. It's broken down into 12 segments of 3-4 miles each time. So it'll be a great way to sort of structure my Friday mornings again and let people know what it's all about and try and pass on some information like what Dawn was saying, picking up little snippets of information, and just interesting facts about where I'm at, as well as, of course, passing on the message of why it's important to really, really attack the day and, of course, reflect back on the week. I'm sure in the morning that positivity will be still there, if not building even more ahead of the weekend. So until then, guys, really, really, really appreciate everything. Just one more quick comment. Ian said Beverly Hills Cop, favourite film of all time. Look how easy that is, guys. There's 6 or 7 answers there to films. So easy, isn't it? So please leave your comments. There's been plenty watching today. Loved all that interaction. Not quite used to doing it all yet, so it throws me a little bit, but this is all a learning curve. It's a learning curve for me. And if it helps you in any way whatsoever and inspires you to do something positive, then that's my job done. So until tomorrow, guys, in that wake up to walk session, have a great evening. I'm going to go and get excited about football again. Look at my run on Strava, be positive. Probably watch myself back on that vlog once more. Check back on the week. Until tomorrow, like I say, just doing it. Thank you for watching.